What's up and welcome back. I'm John Stark from MacTheMovieGuy.com, your favorite blind film critic, and today I'm going to review Blue Moon. You saw me standing alone. Yeah, Blue Moon. Click subscribe for occasional breaking into song and singing, which is a proper musical, which is really what that is. It's just when you need to say something, but you can't just say it, you have to sing it. And it's directed by Richard Linklater. It stars Ethan Hawke, Andrew Scott, Margaret Qualley, and Barbie Cannavale. And it's being released by Sony Pictures Classics this weekend, and I got an advance for Blue Moon. And what did I think of Blue Moon? I loved it, actually. I actually really enjoyed Blue Moon. I don't love every single thing that Linklater has ever done. I'm not all just I'm not a giant Richard Linklater fan. I think he's a very interesting director, but just before you think like, oh, well, of course, it looks like a Linklater fan. No, I don't. It's possible for people to make bad movies, like actors and directors, and I don't necessarily just subscribe to the, well, I like you as a person. Theretofore, everything you touch is golden. I just really enjoyed Blue Moon. I thought it was a great time. It's a fantastic performance from Ethan Hawke, who plays Lorenz Hart, sort of in his final days, trying to cobble together the last little pieces of his dynasty as the Rodgers and Hart time is ending and the Rodgers and Hammerstein time is beginning. This is right around the premiere of Oklahoma on Broadway, and we're at a bar the whole movie, basically, and Hawke plays Hart from this whole time. It's just like, the film is like 85% Ethan Hawke, and then like 7% Andrew Scott, 5% Margaret Qualley, and then that remaining is everyone else. Bobby Cannavale doesn't really have much to do, but he does come in and out with like little interjections, and they have other people that float through here. There's like, the guy that plays Oscar Hammerstein has like a quick little scene with a little bit of dialogue between him and Lorenz, and there's I'm pretty certain a Stephen Sondheim reference. I'm like 99% sure that's what that is, because Oscar's like got a little kid with him named Steve, and I'm just like, well, that's gotta be. So I think this is, if you're like a music theater nerd and you grew up in and around music theater, it's gonna be a film that resonates with you even more. And with all of the references and the way that Hawke and Linklater are translating all of this theater jargon and all of this, music and lyrics by the teaming up of Rodgers and Hart and all the classic music that they came up with and all of the shows that they did. And it goes into sort of Hart's troubled battles with, drinking and smoking cigars throughout everything, and he ended up having a somewhat early death, which is why Rodgers and Hammerstein became more of a thing, but also because Oklahoma was wildly successful, and Hart really doesn't like Oklahoma, but I think it's open to interpretation as you move through. Does he actually recognize it's good, or is he just trying to shoot it down? Is it jealousy? Because Hawke plays with it so wonderfully and so effortlessly, and just dances around all of the topics depending on who he's talking to and what he's trying to get out of the person. And he's a little bit of of a boastful, egotistical person throughout parts of the film, where he's like, well, I'm great, and these are the things, and like he's the expert, and people have come to him to know knowledge and have the glow of the Lorenz Hart light, especially his sort of misguided affections for a much younger woman played by Qualley, who he seems to have very romantic intentions for, but she never plays it that way. She always plays it down as being like they're friends. She's his protege, but not in the bedroom. Literally bringing like other men to him and talking about these other men that she's interested in, but yet he never really stops not being interested in her and not thinking about the prospect of them being together. The movie actually kind of opens up with like a radio report about the death of Lorenz Hart, and we kind of go back from there. So just in case you weren't 100% sure what was going to happen, plus this like it's based in history and has happened years ago, so really none of these people are alive. Uh, even Sondheim had passed away a few years ago, so and he's a little kid in this. Um, so yeah, the historical references to the time. There's sort of the dance around sexuality. Are these people? Is anybody? And I thought they played with that nicely, and Hart has a nice response to that about what he believes his sexuality should be to make him an effective composer. So, yeah, this is one of the best movies I've seen this year. This is possible to be in the top 10 for me. I've said that maybe a few times, but this truly is one that I think at the end of the year I'm going to be sitting there going, you know what, I really love Blue Moon. And admittedly, I am kind of a music theater nerd, and I think uh, it's possible I could have Wicked and Blue Moon in here at the same time and have like two music theater heavy pieces in my top 10, but um, I just really loved this, and Ethan Hawke is very much in contention for Best Actor. This is the best performance he's done since First Reformed, which sadly he did not get a nomination for, but absolutely deserved. So he hasn't had a role quite like this since First Reformed. It's even better than the stuff he's doing on the Lowdown, in my opinion. I think it's such a showcase for him that it's not really a showcase for anybody else. Like I wouldn't predict anybody else. Anybody who's trying to lay Andrew Scott on you, eh, they're just I mean the balance of screen time here is just like it's not even fair. It's the just the wild difference in screen time is the camera follows Hart. Like it's all Hart's performance. So it's all Hawke's performance as Hart. So I just don't really I refuse to. I can't see this getting like an ensemble nomination. I can't see this getting into SAG ensemble. I think where this appears everywhere is Ethan Hawke for Best Actor, and potentially also this for original screenplay. I think Linklater is going to have too hard of a time getting into director anywhere, even in categories with broader, wider amounts of nominations. There are just too many auteur-driven films this year for something that's very simplistically shot in like one room. It doesn't have the same style or attention given to it like something like Boyhood did that he was working on for like 14 years. So um I think maybe costumes if somebody really loves it because of the period of it, uh perhaps. But I mean it can't really get score. There's such like a huge uh like focus on the actual music that's already been pre-written that, but then again I really thought Wicked an original score was silly considering they said Dune was not eligible but Wicked was, and the rules in that category state that there can't be so much non-original music that it confuses, like people have to be able to understand what's original and what's not. Like it can't the definitive notion can't be walking away with the music that's previously been written. Really, with Wicked, you think you wrote that much of an original score that people forgot the stuff that was already there? So who knows? Maybe Blue Moon can get into the score. I don't think so, but stranger things have happened. Production design, it's a bar. I think that's a stretch Costume design is a lot easier because even though they're not changing a lot of people, I could see it being like a fifth place spot, like a little surprise for the period. These are theatrical people doing theatrical clothing, so maybe that's like if Blue Moon performs really strong. Editing, I don't know. Again, it's all kind of like it's just like a giant monologue for Ethan Hawke. Mostly, I mean, he's just going from person to person and talking, and maybe I'm trying to think like if there's a critic group or awards body out there that truly loves Blue Moon, how deep could they go? Picture would be it if they have 10 spots. Actor and screenplay. I really don't think it's viable. Costumes would be like an outside, but that's kind of its package. It seems kind of limited, but the film is still deeply interesting and very good. So even though their screen time is limited, it's not like Scott, Qualley, and Cannavale and the rest of the cast are bad. It's just that if you see it, you'll notice that Ethan Hawke is like a towering giant in the film, and it's just like you're walking away with that going, man, that Ethan Hawke. You don't walk away from it going, wow, those couple of scenes with Margaret Qualley, this will make up for the substance. Like, she's gonna get the nomination this time for sure. Like, she has far less to do here than she did in the substance. So I think people will like it. I loved it. I think it charmed the socks off of me. It's not my best picture of the year. Like, that's the thing, is like when I say it should be in the top 10, it's because I can't say it's my number one film right now, like with like sheer confidence. So it's like floating in the top 10, but there are still more movies to come. So if like the year ended right now, it would be in my top 10, but I can't make that promise because I still have more movies to go. So because it's not starting at number one, and it has the potential of, you know, the number one film would have to fall 10 spots to fall out of the top 10. This has less spots to fall. But I still hope everybody goes out and sees this, and it's a great time. And I think theater nerds out there will be rewarded with all of the little things that it must have taken them a lot to come up with. The little historical references and little Easter eggs, just gags. The more you know about music theater, the better. The more of a theater nerd you are, the better. And that's what I got. So I'm gonna give Blue Moon, I'm gonna go with an 8.6 out of 10. I really enjoyed Blue Moon, and I think you will too. So thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, and I will see you guys on the other side.